June 16th, 1815, the Battle of Ligny. The whole French army is coming on right here. A grand reception has been prepared for them by Zieten and his Prussian First Corps. Now, from a player's perspective, I have placed Perch's infantry division and Roeder's dragoons here. What this means is when the French cavalry arrive, they won't be able to contact the Prussians turn one. By the time they enter, come out of column, and move, they have to cross this stream right here, and that will cost them another third. This will leave them just short of being able to contact the Prussian, essentially stopping any attack until turn 2. On the hill behind Saint-Anand, Zieten has placed his artillery. In the fortification, the chateau of Saint-Anand-le-Haye, which you can see in the picture. But when the game begins, I have that block of infantry in the chateau. The last game I played, that held for quite a while. Basically wore out 2 French Corps infantry trying to take it. We'll see if it happens again. Alright, enough jibber jabber, let's get started. And now we're moving on to turn 2. Turn 2 sees the arrival of Gerard's 4th Corps and the Prussian 2nd Corps with Perch and Blücher. Now it's not necessary, but just to keep things straight, I have these little markers when a block is in column. You'll see me using them, and there'll be a link in the description where you could buy them if you'd like to use them too. I find them really handy. Cavalry elements. And the Prussians have fallen back. Here we have Perch's 2nd Corps coming in column with Blücher. Notice that in column they are so stretched out that they're not able to all get on in one turn. Because the cavalry has been held back so far, Gerard's 4th Corps wasn't able to use the roads when they came on, so they're marching on in line. Now turn 3 will see the Prussian 3rd Corps arrive, that's Thielmann, along with the French Guard with Napoleon. Things are, however, a little congested. Alright, now that is the end of turn 3 movement of this 7-turn game. Now this turn there is no combat, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been combat. The combat that gets resolved in the combat phase is combat where an attack has been successful and somehow in the combat, for good or for bad, there's natural reduction of the units involved in combat. In other words, they suffer some kind of casualties and become spent or eliminated or retreated. Part of what's simulated in the chit draw is much of the other combat, where one side falls back before the attack is made, or fights a fighting retreat, or for whatever million reasons, the attackers just weren't able to get the attack together or put together an effective attack. And so what you have is what we have here. Case in point, Van Damme's attack on the French left. They were able to drive him out of the town, especially with their flanking cavalry, but they were not able to cause him any significant loss or casualties, and those troops have merely fallen back. They've been maneuvered out of position. They didn't want to stay and fight in an outflanked and compromised position, so they fell back. The town was lost, but the army preserved. In the last game, Saint-Anand-le-Haye was scene of ferocious fighting for most of the game. This time, even though Zieten's artillery was able to successfully bombard and drive back many of the attacking troops, because of the action to their right, the position became untenable, and so they simply fell back. Now they've fallen back to another fortified chateau, so it's not as ruinous as it may sound. This game I have learned my lesson from last game and extended Zieten's 1st Corps out to their left, which has stymied the French cav, which last game was all the way up here and stopped 2nd and 3rd Corps from advancing very far. This game, 2nd Corps and 3rd Corps are able to enter the battle in a much more timely fashion. How long can they hold versus the larger French opponent, Napoleon and his guard? Well, I, for one, shall be very interested to see how this transpires. Turn 4, late afternoon. Lancers the Prussian dragoons are swept aside, and the Young Guard assaults Ligny. The Prussians try to hold, but they are swept out with grave losses. Now at the beginning of turn 5, the Prussians are still in good order. The line is stable and holding. However, here in Saint Anand, the last fortified chateau is being held. As the rest of the line falls back, it's going to be cut off. So they either have to hold tight or abandon that fortification. Next turn sees Milhaud's 4th Cavalry Corps arrive. Just what the Prussians were hoping for. More French cavalry. The Guard Lancers attack. The Prussians are driven back, but the Lancers are blown. The French Guard cavalry has been stopped, but at a terrible cost. Almost nothing is left of Eaton's 1st Corps. The end of combat on turn 5 sees the Prussians driven back with heavy losses. The Chateau La Salle, north of the town of Saint Anand, was held for some time and with great effort, but ultimately the French forces could not be resisted. And now it's turn 6. Night is coming on. The end of turn 6. There's one more turn left. Now Zayton has one block left and is guarding his bags. The French Guard is in hot pursuit. Lobau's 6th Corps has just come on. More French. Playing the Prussians at Ligny has many hard decisions. The hardest is whether or not to stay and fight or to escape in the night. Zayton's 1st Corps is almost lost. The French have only light casualties. I think the Prussians are going to try to get away, but how much of their army can they save next turn? Let's find out. And now the Guard uses the charge rule, which allows them to attack in the movement phase, and they hit Zayton's remaining units. That was the Young Guard assault. Now the Guard Grenadiers assault. Now the Grenadiers attack, but this attack is on the bags. If you attack the bags, they're captured. Captured bags turn this into a Prussian rout. And what do I always say? Guard your bags. That was a good game.
Let's see that again.